Speedy Gonzalez here with our third and final episode of Battle of the Presses. From Italy, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
From Texas, howdy partners.
Now, if people start looking at you funny, all you gotta say is howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Faster than that, or people think you're slow in the head. Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Just follow my lead. Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner. Howdy, partner.
Just park it right there.
It's not working.
And from Australia, good day, mates.
That's a lovely accent you have. New Jersey?
Austria.
Austria? Well then, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
We're going to show you a little bit about the press now. We've got it set up that was probably a little bit hard to see when we first did the reveal on it. So we're going to stop the video here, and then we're going to take a look at the press, and we're going to see some of the features of the press and some of the new mods that are going to be available to the new customers. Here she is in all her glory. Big blue, all the way from Australia. Quite impressive, very massive. The next biggest one would be the Lindsay. We have a Nemi core seater installed in the press now to where we'll be getting ready to seat some cores. See how she works compared to the Pine Heart and the Lindsay. In the background there, you can see the micrometer stop. Once you've raised the ram to its maximum height, you can set that where it stops against this plate down here in the back. Stops all the movement. You don't have any camming over, so every pull of the handle guarantees that you wind up with exactly the same stroke length. The new presses, this is a 4-inch billet. They're going to be made from 4.5-inch billet, making them stronger. You're going to have the ability to make the press right-handed or convert it to being left-handed. There's even talk about having a center handle. You can see the ejector plate up on top. It's easily adjustable by moving these lock rings, moving it up and down so you control the stroke of your ejector. It can also be reversed and use the press as a reloading press. You can make everything up to a 50 caliber bullet in here, and you can also reload everything up to a 50 BMG round in here quite easily. Simply by removing the insert. What we've got in here now, they load from the bottom. This is a 7/8 used with the standard reloading dies or the standard bullet making dies. It's got the insert that you can change from 7/8 to 1¼ 12, where you can use the larger dies for a 375, 408 SciTac, 416 Barrett, EM50 BMG, or you can use the big 1¼ 12 dies like the one I made here. It's also a 30 caliber. Here's your angle plate. This one here happens to be 20 degrees like we pointed out in the reveal. The ones that are going to be made in current manufacture are going to be 25 degrees angled back. I didn't need it, so for using these angle plates, they're angled back 30 degrees. Here's your adapter for your reloading dies. You remove this cap and screw the shell holder plate in, and it's timed so it'll come out the front. You can also attach the little primer catcher up on the front. So you'll have primers all over the floor. Cycles very, very smoothly. as do all these presses, the Pine Heart and the Lindsay and the Armaments by Design, or as I call her, Big Blue, are all very, very slick and smooth in movement, no play, unlike the people who make bullets using the older style presses or converted presses, are the rock chuckers and the Reddings and the Lymans. If you want the ultimate in quality when you're making bullets, the investment you make in these presses is well worth the money. As soon as you pull the handle the first time, you'll realize what you're missing out on. Anyways, we'll seat some cords here. I'll just remove the camera from my hands and put it into the stand. And we'll seat some cores and see how that compares to the other two, the Lindsay and the Pine Heart. And then we'll point some bullets up and check those out. Okay, well, I've got the press adjusted. Everything's set up. I didn't set the ejector slide out because I wanted to catch every bullet and put it back into the tray as it came out. So we'll put one in here. You can really feel a positive stop with this press when you reach the top of your stroke. Hopefully all will go smoothly. We won't have any jackets stick to the punch. So far, so good. These are 113 grain, 30 caliber bullets for varmint for score. Most people are using the lighter bullets. The lead we're using is a corrosive lead or pure lead alloyed with antimony to give the lead a little bit harder profile. There are 3 types of lead that we can use when we make bullets. One is a pure tin, pure lead, otherwise known as a corrosive lead. Many feel that that is the best type of lead to use for flat base and short boat tail bullets. When you get into the longer boat tails, most people will use a blend of antimony and or tin mixed with the lead to make the lead a little bit harder to resist collapse from the pressure applied to the long boat tails. If you get into bullet making, depending on the type of bullets you're making, I would suggest that you try all 3. Crown Metal is the place to buy lead wire and swedge it yourself. Or Charlie Hood is a gentleman who you'd want to use if you want to buy a pre-swedged cores where you just drop them in the jacket and go. That's where these were made. Charlie Hood made these. You weigh your jacket and determine what weight bullet you want to make, and you call Charlie Hood up or email Charlie Hood up and give him the weight of the lead that you'll need to make your bullet the final weight, and you'll be good to go. Well, so far, we just ran 25, and it was a flawless operation. I'll stop it here. I'll reset the dies up to repoint, and we'll see how she works. Okay, so we put the same Nemi 7.5 ogive point-up die in this press just as we did the Lindsay and the STAMOLY press by Jeff Pinehart. I've got it where it's pointing up very nicely. I'm going to put pressure on this, and then I'm going to lower that stop to prevent any more rise of the ram up against the stop, so we have a consistent stop on all of these bullets. I've just touched that little metal plate, and we'll see what happens. Ah, perfect. A nice little 7.5 ogive 30 caliber bullet, ready for the varmint for score. Let's see how this first one goes. Another beautiful little projectile. And we'll run the rest of them just to make sure everything's working good. I'll move this over here. You guys have already seen it. This longer arm on this press does make it a little bit easier to point these up. The ejector plate was very easy to set up. One thing about this style ejector plate here, especially with the 2 arms pulling it down, you don't feel the flex that you do on the other 2. Not detrimental, but it's just something that you notice right away. So far, she seems to be Pretty impressive. John Perot's also making a little 3D printed chute that will go out the back so that the bullets can be ejected and fall into the chute and go into a little tray on the back side. Plenty of room to get my big fat hands in here. And last but not least, 20. The only thing I can say about Big Blue here, sorry you don't have one. In fact, sorry you don't have any of the three. I really can't say too much bad about any of them. I'll have a review of my pros and cons after this, or I may just post it in the back of the video. Most of them, all the cons would be just some of the things that I personally like to do or see as I'm making bullets. Just things that I've kind of developed over the years. And we'll go from there. But so far, Big Blue kind of lived up to her name. Big and blue and beautiful. And we finally reached the end of our journey on the Battle of the Three Presses. I really should have called it a comparison of the three presses, because that was my intent the whole time, was to evaluate the three different presses and compare a custom press as opposed to one of the standard modified presses, be it RCBS, Lee, or Redding, which are your standard three. What I found amongst all of the three presses I tested were they were, I wouldn't say a lot more accurate, but they were more precise in the movements. You didn't feel any of the looseness like you would feel on the Reddings, even though these have been highly modified. Some of them have been modified enough to where the complete ram has been replaced. Some of them have been chrome plated. Others, just parts have been replaced, and you still feel that looseness in the assembly. On the Lindsay, on Big Blue, on Jeff Pinehart's STAMOLY press, everything is very, very precise. I've read on the internet that is the price worth the precision. And in my opinion, regardless of whether it's the Lindsay, Big Blue, or Jeff Pinehart presses, my opinion would be yes. Especially in the feel, you can feel one movement is identical to the next, where a lot of time the looseness in these presses right here cause you to not be sure of that last bullet you made. One of the things that I really wanted to see in the comparison of the three presses, or something that incorporated everything I like to see in a press. Unfortunately, every one of them had just a slight deal that made me not unhappy with, but something I could modify, but would like to see as a standard feature on the presses. For example, if you compare the ejector frame on the standard RCBS press as opposed to the ejector frame on Big Blue, one of the things that I typically do, if it's not done for me already, is to cut a notch on the back of this arm to allow you to swing it out of place when you're through using it for the day. The reason for that is that anytime you're through using the press, you position the handle back in its upright position so it's not sticking out in people's way. And when you do that, that would be the same motion that you would use when you eject the bullet. And on your bullet making die or your point up die, it's spring loaded. So if you raise this up and you press this down, it keeps that spring compressed. So you have to get this handle either lifted up or moved out of the way. And if you're doing point up operations over several days, you have to readjust it, then readjust it, and readjust it, and readjust it. So on Big Blue, if this is my press, which it is now, the first thing I'm going to do is to make that notch on the back here where I can swing this arm up just like I can, and this one right here when you lock it. It makes it real easy at the end of the day just to swing this arm out. The next day when you're ready to start again, swing it back in place, lock it down. In the case of Big Blue here, you would have to loosen these screws and either remove this top plate completely, which is not that difficult. But if you could just swing this out of the way by just loosening the screw and tighten it, it would be back in place. So that's one feature. The Leslie and the Pine Heart have a bit of the same issue. It's not as difficult on the Lindsay or Pine Heart because you can just loosen one of these bolts and swing this out of the way. The only problem with this is that if you want to make an adjustment to your point-up die, a lot of times the adjustment either takes it all the way to the bottom or doesn't give you enough ejection of the pin right there to actually eject the bullet out of the die. So I would like this to be made like a T-handle. I'm going to have some of these things made, or I'm going to make it myself here in the fall. But this way it'll give me a lot finer adjustment if I could come around a half a revolution and make an adjustment. I would rather have it made like the spokes on a wheel, where I had 4 spokes and 4 notches, to where if I wanted to finish for the day and leave it set up for tomorrow, I could just move it a quarter of a notch, and the ejector spring would be relieved of any pressure. On your core seating die, it doesn't make any difference. You can leave it down or you can leave it up. There's no spring in there to compress and possibly lose some of the spring rate on it. Other than that, all of the presses work great. The investment of money on any of them, in my opinion, would be a good investment to any of the bullet makers, just in the fact that it would make their bullets a lot more precise in the way that you move the handle, actuate it up and down, and you have a good solid feel when you come to the stop, especially on Big Blue, when you've got this micrometer that you can adjust to get you that feel exactly how you want it. It took a little bit getting used to, but on the final product, I ran some more bullets other than what I ran on the video. And when you run 100 bullets and their only variation is about plus or minus 1/1000, you did quite a bit of an accomplishment with that press right there. These others, we typically measure them. They run about 2 to 3 thousandths variations. And there again, some of that could be a fault of the lubricant you've got on it, how you actuate the handle, whether you use it fast or slow. Usually when I'm setting up bullet making presses for somebody, ask me if they're going to run it slow or if they're going to run it fast. I run them pretty fast, so I set up the point up die one way. If they're running it slow, I adjust it another way. But anyways, I just want to say thank you for the journey, coming with me through the Italian press, the Lindsay, the American press, the Pine Heart, and now the Australian press, Big Blue from Armaments by Design. And we'll keep doing these things if you enjoy them. Like and subscribe, and we'll just continue more and more. We'll start doing some stuff on the blackboard in preparation for the lathe. Anyway, Speedy Gonzalez, keep them small.